Hi, I'm Mary Grace, and I want to tell you about an exciting program here at Sac State. Many of the colleges, departments, and centers are reaching out to the community with a program we call STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. STEM was created to show our future scientists, engineers, and scholars some of the excellent fields of study offered at Sac State. Each semester, students like you are invited to campus to take part in all kinds of demonstrations. Nursing, biology, physics, and computer science are just a few of the many programs you can learn about. There are hundreds of choices. Use the menu to choose one, or you can play them all. Have fun! How would you feel about working in the field of physics? You could be a research or applied physicist in acoustics, astrophysics, astronomy, atomic and molecular physics, electricity and magnetism, energy conservation, geophysics or health physics, medical imaging, nuclear medicine, solar energy, solid-state physics, scientific computing, or you could be a science educator. Get the idea? The possibilities are endless. Today, we are going to focus on just one discipline in the field of physics, specifically acoustical engineering. Sacramento State has a unique facility for studying acoustics, and it's really cool too. William DeGraffenreid is a professor in the Department of Physics and Astronomy. His area of expertise is atomic physics and scientific instrumentation. Today, he's working with students in the department's acoustics course.
Acoustics is the science of sound. When we study acoustics, we study how sound waves propagate, how they reflect, how they interfere with each other, how they get absorbed. Acoustics is used in the study of sound, hearing, music, building design. Acoustics is used in designing your new concert halls to make sure that everybody hears exactly the same thing. In acoustics, we also study noise, the sources of it, and how to get rid of it. Fortunately, here at Sac State, we have a nice quiet place where we can do some work. In the anechoic chamber, we're completely isolated from outside noise. In addition to that, the walls are designed to absorb any echo. Echoes can make it difficult for us to measure certain effects. The echoes will overwhelm what we're trying to measure. The way this chamber is used is it's designed to absorb the sound waves that are produced inside here. What happens is the sound waves come in, they hit these angled surfaces, and they get absorbed as the reflections continue inward. Today we're going to be measuring the interference pattern produced by these two speakers. Just like when you drop two pebbles into a pond of water, you get waves that interfere with each other, you get crests and troughs, high points and low points. Same thing happens with sound waves. Anti-reflective walls, we can really measure that very carefully. We've got a microphone mounted here, and Matthew's out in the analysis room recording the sound at that point. And we're going to move it around the room and see what the interference pattern looks like. See, it's going to take longer to update, but see, you've got a lot more lines. It's got a lot more data.
The microphone inside the chamber is measuring the sound. And on the screen, it is plotting a Fourier transform of the frequencies that we're measuring.
People with backgrounds in acoustics can find a career in very broad areas. Things like in medical fields, such as designing new ultrasound techniques. People can get jobs looking for the next deposits of oil and oil-bearing rocks. They can find fish too and design new techniques to help find fish in the ocean.
Thanks, Professor DeGraffenreid. So, that's pretty cool, huh? And remember, acoustical engineering is only one of the many choices you have here at Sac State. If you want to hear more about acoustical engineering or any physics subject, here's where you can find more information. Log on to www.csus.edu and click on Information for Future Students. Or visit the STEM website at www.csus.edu/STEM or call 916-278-2789. Do you like computers? The job market for computer scientists today is outstanding. When you have a degree in computer science, there are all kinds of jobs available. Computer programming, networking, graphics, database management systems, software engineering, computer security, artificial intelligence, game design, web technologies, neural networks, computer forensics, algorithm analysis, or cryptography. Get the idea? The possibilities are endless. Every year at Sac State, the Artificial Intelligence class holds a competition. This year, 30 of our best students took part. They chose a board game and wrote programs that could play the game. Then they played against each other to see who wrote the smartest program. Let's take a look.
So today we're having a tournament. All of these students in the class have implemented their version of this game, and the games are competing against each other.
This is Rabbit Race that our teacher invented for us, which is a strategy game where you're trying to jump over your player's pieces and kind of a cross between checkers and chess.
This year, there are 29 programs competing. Everyone enjoys comparing notes about their strategies.
And it waits and waits and waits and waits and waits until the other one is just one square away from getting a null, and then it finally goes ahead and wins.
It's fun, and there are always some unexpected surprises.
The computer just made an illegal move. Really? Yeah, instead of jumping, it moved a piece over to block. Look at you. Good stuff.
The competition lasts 2 days, and it's pretty intense. Now we're approaching the final round.
So there's still 2 programs left that are undefeated, Jake and Fong, and they'll be playing each other pretty soon.
How do you expect that to go?
I have no idea. They're both very good programs.
Wait, sorry.
Delta 5, Charlie 4.
Yeah, it's exciting. This is the class where you spend most of your time, even if you don't have to, you still do more homework than you're supposed to, because the nature of it is you write the program as far as you can go. You don't write the program to meet the teacher's specs and then just turn it in and you get your grade. You write the program as best as you can to go as far as you can. You can spend as much time as you want if you really like to think in life, which is why the class is interesting.
The strongest programs look 10 or 15 moves deep. They analyze millions of positions, then decide what move to make.
Yeah, I have one of the most, I have the most things implemented into my program. I have QSs, killer moves, force, I can detect forced wins, and some basic heuristics that determine board position. Something like, the teacher has detect forced wins, and that's like the only other guy who has that. And I don't think anyone has the Q essence right now, which is I force a jump if it stops at a jump point.
The people who come out of these courses will go to work in any of a number of fields related to artificial intelligence. So some of them may go to work for programming software that does stock forecasting, or they may go to work, of course, for game design and a number of other graphically heavy applications.
He gave us about 4 weeks to do it, and it took me the full 4 weeks for sure. It's complex enough, and there are enough processes going on at one time that you have to deal with it. It's applicable to just about any kind of software design project or coding project that you might work on.
And in case you were wondering, Fong's program was the champion. It even beat the teacher's program. One of the most popular and challenging classes in computer science is a video game architecture class. In this class, students design and implement their own video game. Then, at the end of the semester, they get together to play on game day.
Would you like to play?
Right now, one of the student teams has implemented a networked game called, what's it called? Starball. Starball. And it's basically soccer in space. You fly around in your ship, and there's 2 teams, the red team and the blue team, and so we've got like 3 or 4 people on each of these 2 teams all playing in the same game. And their objective is to shoot at the big soccer ball type thing and move it in the direction of their team's goal. This particular game has some physics models built into it. You can see when the bullets that the spaceship shoots hit the ball goes bouncing off. So there's a whole bunch of complex things involved in a game like this. Physics and math, and in addition, the whole range of computer science topics, data structures, algorithms, and a team scores. The red team scores a goal. All right.
We spent about 18 hours on the last day alone here overnight, and we had been working on it for a couple of weeks prior to that.
This is something we could actually take to a field, or you know, when we interview with somebody, we can talk about this game.
Exactly, and I'm going to be using this game. I'm actually trying to get into the game industry as a career, and having a completed game to show to a potential employer, or I'm actually trying to get an internship this summer. That puts you way ahead.
I've always just wanted to make a game that I could enjoy myself, something that I would like to express my creativity.
Video games today are not just fun and games, they're big business too.
It has currently grown to the point where it's a $20 billion industry, so it's a huge phenomenon, and it presents tremendous possibilities for students wanting to go into it as a career field.
Basically, we kind of just sort of guesstimated it. We scratched our heads for a long time and couldn't remember all of our formulas for forces and things, but there really are forces being applied on the objects that
Don't let an engineer get that.
That's right. That's the bug, man. It's called a bug.
So these guys have implemented a 3D racing game. They have a very simple model right now of a car represented by a sphere. The model that they built is actually a duplication of Sears Point Raceway. They actually got the GIS data describing Sears Point and loaded it into their program.
Why can't you get up the hill?
Because my car isn't powerful enough. What happens here is literally my wheel goes over the other side.
Oh, yeah, well, you can actually see that in that model.
The students who are interested in games are all over the map in terms of what they're interested in. I find some students who absolutely love to play first-person shooters and run around in worlds and shoot at things, real-time strategy games or in puzzle-type games. Some people are interested in sports simulations. There's a whole range of different categories of games. It's difficult to build a game that's fair to all the players and fun at the same time.
Drop by the department and play one of the games. Or, better yet, take the class and you can make one of your own. If you want to learn more about the computer science program at Sac State, log on to www.csus.edu and click on Information for Future Students. Or visit the STEM website at www.csus.edu/STEM or call 916-278-2789. Have you ever thought about being a nurse? Nursing offers many career opportunities. As a nurse, you can provide patient care to infants, children, and adults. You may choose to be an RN in the emergency department, work with geriatrics, the intensive care unit, a newborn nursery, or a community health agency. You could be a nurse practitioner, a clinical nurse specialist, a certified nurse anesthetist, an emergency flight nurse, a certified public health nurse, or an educator in a hospital, agency, college, or university. The possibilities are endless. Today, we have a chance to observe a nursing class in action. The Sac State Nursing Department has a really high-tech piece of equipment. It's called a human simulator. The human simulator lets students experience what it's like to work in a real-life environment. Catherine Kelly and Deborah Brady are instructors in the nursing department. They have been teaching nursing for several years and have used the simulator for the last 2 years.
So let us introduce you to SimMan. He's our ready-to-go patient any time of day. He's a very sophisticated mannequin controlled by a computer. It's a computer program that allows us to create disease processes. Our students can learn to assess and treat symptoms and then evaluate his response. SimMan can talk, he can cough, he can vomit. He can complain about pain, and he can say thank you when he feels better. He's got heart tones, breath sounds, and pulses, and you can take his blood pressure too.
We learn how to recognize all different kinds of lung sounds that go with different diseases, such as asthma or pneumonia.
We learn how to handle a person with a heart attack, diabetes, or any other kind of emergencies.
It's like a problem. You kind of think how to figure it out, and you try out different methods, maybe different medications, different oxygen saturations, and you kind of find out what works and see if it helps them get better.
It gives students that opportunity to role play in difficult or stressful situations. They can anticipate the reactions of patients and their family members, and it gives them the understanding of what people might be going through in a critical situation. I think the most exciting thing about this equipment is that it's fun to learn with. I mean, you get to actually listen to breath sounds and heart tones and try to figure out what's going on.
Is there a reason why you would prefer the wet suction over the dry section?
Mostly over to the dry chamber, or as...
Sac State is really on the cutting edge with this type of technology. SimMan gives our student a chance to practice their nursing skills in a learning environment where it's okay to make a mistake.
I saw that his blood pressure was dropping and that his respiratory rates were increasing. He was breathing really fast, and I wasn't able to act in time. I wasn't able to give him oxygen fast enough, and so he kind of died on me.
I just thought, well, he's having a hard time breathing, so I'm gonna lift his chest up so he'll get all this air. In all actuality, it made all the blood flow down to his feet instead of his heart, so that's a mistake I learned from.
Before we had our simulator, our students only had the opportunity to learn from books, videotapes, and from real patients in hospitals.
When I was going through, we would just get a little paper and you would read through, and you had one set of vitals you would look at, and you'd say, well, this is what I would do.
We get to hear his breathing and all the reactions that go along with it, which is kind of neat. We don't get that in the textbook.
You had time to stop and think and puzzle it out, where in the real world, things are happening really fast.
Also, our students need to have practice working with patients who have medical emergencies. Many times in the clinical setting, when they're in the hospital, patients are doing fine and they don't have those kind of emergencies. And yet, they need that kind of experience. So we can program SimMan to give them that kind of practice.
I like that Mr. Sim is a lot like a real person, so by the time that you've dealt with a particular situation with him, then when you see it in the hospital, it's not quite as scary.
Now our students can practice their skills regularly in the simulation lab and become more confident, so when they go out to take care of real patients, they're confident in their nursing care.
This simulation technology allows us to make a video to be able to play back to the students for instant feedback so they can go ahead and identify what they did, as well as to look for opportunities to improve.
He was doing okay, complaining of a little bit of shortness of breath. He did have to increase his O2 a little bit, the amount of O2 he was on, to keep his SAT above 94%, which is where the doctor wanted it. So he can go ahead and titrate to keep it above 94%.
The most exciting thing about having this equipment is that it gives our students the hands-on ability to really assess and treat conditions and to evaluate the responses that they see from their patients.
Because nursing is provided all over the country, where you can go ahead and, for the most part, choose your job, your career in different parts of the world.
There are so many roles in which we can make a difference. We can work in the schools, we can work in the hospitals, we can work in clinical settings, we can help write legislation for new healthcare bills, we can teach.
I don't know at all what field I want to go into just yet. I might want to be a flight nurse, work on the helicopters, or ICU nursing, or be a nurse anesthetist, or a million other different things.
It's not just for people who want to go into the medical field. If you like math, there's a lot of medical calculations to do. If you like to talk to people and you like people, you can socialize a lot. There's a lot of interactions with patients.
I can work with pediatric patients, or I can work with adults. I can travel, find a job virtually in any state. I just have a lot of options and choice and flexibility in my life, and I like that. I chose a career at Sac State because I can be a teacher and a nurse.
The faculty really are amazing. They work so hard. They're here even longer than we are, and we're here a long time.
Students continually push me to stay current with all my material, to learn new things, and they make my career very exciting.
They've invited us into their homes. They've had study sessions. that end later than 11 p.m. They feed us, they're there to answer our questions. They really, really would do anything to make sure that we succeed.
I think that being a nurse is just one of the greatest things that you could do. It's a way to make a difference in someone's life every single day.
I feel better now.
Thanks to the professors and students of the CSUS Nursing Department. Remember, nursing is only one of the many choices you have here at Sac State. You can find out more about the Sac State Nursing Program by logging on to www.csus.edu and clicking on Information for Future Students. Or visit the CSUS Nursing website at www.hhs.csus.edu/NRS or call 916-278-6525. How would you like to become a STEM teacher? As a STEM teacher, you will have a chance to make a positive and permanent difference in kids' lives by making science, technology, engineering, and math applicable to the real world. A good STEM teacher creates lessons that are socially and culturally relevant, engaging, purposeful, interdisciplinary, inquiry-based, and student-centered with a focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. Almost everyone has a story or memory of a great teacher who inspired or helped to guide them to understand STEM concepts better. One single teacher can inspire thousands of students throughout their career. A teacher is also a lifelong learner. STEM teaching lets you keep your mind active since the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math are constantly changing and advancing with the times. Today, we have a chance to see a STEM student teacher in action.
How does lead get in the soil? Let's think about it. I'm going to give you about a minute to talk to your group. How do you think?
Angelita Sepulveda is an elementary education student teacher in the Sac State Teacher Credentialing Program. She's been in the program for 2 semesters and now she is gaining some real-life experience teaching science. Today, Angelita's class is doing a scientific experiment.
The experiment is about soil in a solid form, and the past 2 previous experiments have been on liquid and gas. And this experiment is working with soil samples so the students have hands-on activity. Now I want you to predict, is it going to be high, medium, or low?
In this topic, the students learned about states of matter, they learned about chemical and physical properties, and they learned about all of this within an environmental context that they live in. And so that really makes it so meaningful and just learning about science for a real purpose.
So do you think that we're going to find lead in this soil from Bowling Green?
Yeah, because it was built before 15 years ago.
Okay, before 1978? Okay, would you feel safe if you found lead in the soil?
No.
Why not?
Because you could get contaminated and get less IQ level.
If you learn about something in your community that's happening, or something that's happening in your own backyard, that makes science more interesting. And especially if you can touch something, or if you can get engaged in the process of learning, and if you can be sort of empowered and responsible for your own learning process, that just makes it more fun.
You're teaching students to be independent thinkers, you're teaching them how to use science in their life. You know, it's not just, oh, let me go look under the microscope. It's actually, my health is science, you know, this world is science.
You're able to integrate real issues that are relevant to them, and they're able to learn based on what they already know and build upon that.
A lot of group work, cooperative groups, think, pair, shares, talk with your partner, talk with your peer. What did you learn about subject X? What did you learn about science? What did you learn about math? So just being able to have that communication with student to student is something that's very different from when I grew up. I see a lot of teachers using a lot of science inquiry methods for the lessons in science, a lot of community atmosphere that I didn't have, a lot of being able to use your Spanish, which I didn't have.
When I was a child, I didn't have a STEM teacher. I didn't have a teacher who motivated me, who brought social justice into our classrooms, who made the subject relevant and made it specified to my own knowledge. So here at Bowling Green, we do a social justice theme, our unit, which we emphasize one of the social justice actions that we can do. For example, we're going to be presenting to the parents today, and we're going to be doing a presentation to the second graders about the knowledge about pesticides and how can they advocate for themselves.
I really enjoy working with the kids, especially in these type of demographics where there are students of color, and it's one thing that I enjoy. It's my passion.
In order to be a really good STEM teacher, you really need to look at your students and their backgrounds, know what kind of environment they're coming from, what knowledge they already have that you can integrate into the curriculum. That way the science becomes much more meaningful to them and they want to continue doing research and asking questions and keep learning.
You need the patience and you need the idea that any student can succeed, and you have to specifically take that attitude into the classroom, because if you don't have a positive attitude, then the students won't have one either.
The science that students learn are science that involve engineering, it involves math, it involves biology, it involves physics, but all sort of in one capsule, and what you get out of it is an understanding of the real world instead of an understanding of parts and facts and bits and pieces of what's written in textbooks.
Actually, working in the classroom allows us to implement science through a more personal level that brings in community issues, so that way they're learning science about themselves as opposed to just learning a content or a concept that they're going to be confused about. They want to make it more personal and also at the same time learn the standards, learn the content, and actually apply it to everyday things in life.
When I see that a student really understands something, it's a really great feeling to see that smile on their face and you see that light bulb click inside of them.
I want to become a STEM teacher because it's exciting. You're always trying new things. Students are always able to do hands-on experiments and hands-on projects where they're constantly having those aha moments and they're constantly learning and they're forming their own knowledge.
I'm very proud of what the students are doing, because this is not easy. It's not easy to create really cool experiments and really fun activities for kids while doing science for a real purpose. But if a student teacher is committed to doing that and is always constantly looking for ways to find those neat experiments and to find things that are really important for kids to learn and that kids are really excited about learning, that's what's going to create a more scientifically literate community. And that's what we're hoping for.
Thanks to the professors and students of the Sac State Bilingual Multicultural Education Department and the College of Education. Remember, teaching science, technology, engineering, and math are only a few of the many career choices you have at Sac State. If you want to learn more about becoming a STEM teacher at Sac State, log on to www.csus.edu and click on Information Future Students, or visit the College of Education website at www.edweb.csus.edu or call 916-278-3588. Do you have a great idea about how to teach a STEM lesson? One of the awesome things about being a STEM teacher is that you get to plan your classroom instruction in a way that will help your students master their understanding of STEM concepts. Also, because STEM teachers are in such high demand nationally, you're almost guaranteed a teaching job. And let's not forget, summer and winter vacation breaks. Sac State has a future math and science teacher club that you can join to help you gain experience and confidence in teaching within the STEM fields. Students in the club go on STEM field trips, attend STEM conferences, and do outreach at Sacramento area schools to help get kids interested in math and science. Joining the club is a good way to learn about STEM scholarship money. There are thousands of dollars available that you can apply for. Most importantly, the Future Math and Science Teacher Club can help prepare you for entrance into Sac State's teacher credentialing program. I had fun learning about STEM today. I hope you did too. See you soon!